The Maize Trust was founded in August of 1998 to promote the South African maize industry and the broader agricultural sector. It currently funds most of its transformation projects through the Maize Trust bursary scheme as well as the Farmer Development Program of Grain SA. And one farmer shared with us his view on the importance of support.
My name is Lucky Khumalo. I'm living at Majuba district along the Buffalo River. That's where I started farming, and I'm still farming there as well. It all started by a passion. Right from an early age of about 10 years old, I always had my small gardens around here where I planted maize, potatoes and some tomatoes because I liked working with the soil. I inherited this from my father. In fact, it's from my grandfather. He had 7 wives. He used to feed them on the ground by planting. My father did that as well. The difference is that my father had only 1 wife and we were 6 siblings. We were fed by this piece of land where my father farmed. It was in 1976. By that time I was working for ISCO. I managed to buy a small tractor, a 135 Massey Ferguson. I used to do both. I used to go to work. When I was working night shift in the morning, I would start the tractor at 7 and go to the lands, come back home at about 4, have a few hours sleep, then go back to work at 11. Firstly, it's the passion. Secondly, is that my father was doing this, so I thought the only way to live is to go and work on the lands. And one of my uncles was a farmer, bigger than what I was. And I used to visit him, have some talks with him, and the passion grew and the interest started that I can live on this. I think some of the challenges that people are faced with is, firstly, is the passion. And secondly is the lack of land. Then comes the finance to buy inputs, the implements.
The farmers really require on-farm support. They need to be handheld out there in the field to make sure that we do everything at the right time. That's critical. And also to the right specs, using the right variety and the right fertilizer, not aiming too high or too low. So we need in-field support, but we also need access to finance, and that finance needs to be managed well. It's wonderful when the farmers can access zero interest rate loans like we offer at FarmSol, and there are other institutions that offer that too, because when you add the interest burden to it, it's making the margins even tighter. So having in-field and financial support, I think, is wonderful. And then of course adding the mechanization, because if you're not mechanically minded, it's really your Achilles heel. You need to spend money and maintain your equipment. So it helps a lot if you've got almost like a big brother who cares about your development and wants you to grow.
Grain South Africa played a very important role in our life because they were the ones that opened the gates for us to have access to financial institutions and the mentors as well that helped us a lot. Now that we are with Grain South Africa, then we can see that they are here to stay. They will always help us. I always tell young people that agriculture is just as good as any other professions. When you do agriculture, you can live nicely like doctors and what have you. The only thing is that you must have a passion and you must be prepared to work.
Thanks to the funding provided by the Maize Trust, farmers like Lucky Khumalo have a newfound hope for the agriculture of tomorrow.
I've got a message for Grain SA. We are dependent on them. We've seen that without them, our work will not succeed. But if they're always with us, preparing for access to finance, mentoring, and a lot of things that they do for us to go forward, Grain South Africa must stay with us. Even for the upcoming farmers, the small-scale farmers, let them grow until they become commercial farmers.